So this is Jigs, and he is stunning. So he's a poodle-ish, right? We know that he's not full poodle because he is, first of all, party. And he is incredibly long and like, look at these gorgeous legs. But it's one where it definitely, yeah, there's a little something else going on in there. And it's one, and he's a little short neck. Who isn't, right? So when we're doing something like this, honestly, it is one of those things where what?
Let people in. I can't see.
Well, honey, it's just what it is. If I see anything, then I will go from there.
Okay.
So the thing is that what I do want to do is take that back a little bit, just so that you can see. Hang on, my lovelies. Lift that up for a second. Did that help? I just want to make sure you guys can see everything. If I had it on full screen, if I was actually a decent Zoom user, I could actually help, but I can't. So we're going to go through and do a Daisy 4. And so this is one of those where we try and do stuff that's pretty quick and pretty simple. You guys can see these are just Anda's power grooms, not trying to push anything, but it's just what it is. The blade that I have on there is a 4. He's normally a 4, right? Or is he a 5?
I think we do a 5.
Or is he doing a 5? It's funny because I borrowed him and he just got like we basically just bathed him up. And so it was really funny because I haven't remembered like what his actual pattern is. Now you guys might be going, Daisy, what's a daisy? That is what we call in our salon, what you guys might call a teddy bear. If he was a purebred poodle and we were doing everything tickety-boo, we would refer to it as a teddy bear. But because he is a cross, we then take him out of that because coat might hang a little different, things might go a little different. And that's just one of those things. So we're going to end up doing what we call a Daisy 5. And putting it in this particular pattern that we're going to do and putting it on this coat, you will see that it really is something that you can do in salon really easily, get decent money for, like, well, I shouldn't say decent, I should say good money for, and your clients will love it and it'll be super simple. So obviously everything that we do here, safety first, animal first, right? Like that is just so big and important. And it is one where for me, always maintaining their safety. Like right now, he is not in the slip lead, and that is where, because we're going to get started, but I won't take my hand off a dog. We won't walk away from a dog. So I have put a 5 blade on. I don't know if you can see, but just proof. And for me, I always start at the head because I want to clear clippering everything around their neck so that I can put them back into the slip lead safely. And then there's no issues. So just so you guys can see, right here is his occiput, right? And so for this particular dog, if you look, can we just turn you a little bit? Thank you. So if you look, just put your, he's like, no. Right there, he has a cowlick. Now, sometimes when I have this, what I'll do, especially on more of like a Shih Tzu coat, I'll actually blow. And in blowing on that, you'll see the cowlicks come out. And so ultimately you can see his cowlick right there. And with that, it gives me the starter mark that if I start my clippers right here and go back, right, over the head, it just gives me an easy place to start to do all my blending. So hopefully that makes sense. And then that's where we'll start. Hey, bud. And again, for me, it's about safety. So this is where, again, I will tip his nose down gently, start at that cowlick. And then when I'm coming off the ears, right, I'm just grazing, and that's going to blend that out for me. If we have anything that isn't, obviously we'll grab that later. His prep was done, so we don't have to worry about that. But see how I'm coming around this neck? Again, I'm going to tip his head down, get everything back here. We're going to lift these ears up. I tend to hold the ears with my fingers and I'll bring my thumb around and I'll pull the beard forward so that, sorry, I just don't want him to trip. So that that is just right out of my way. And also my thumb to a degree will help protect his eye because obviously safety first. And then I'm just going to come down his cheek. Now I like to take this cheek coat out because I feel that it gives a really cute, pronounced face. Personal preference or owner preference, right? Like you guys do whatever works. So that side is done. And then we're just very gently going to do the same. Ear goes up, sorry, up and over. And then I'm going to hold that beard out of the way. And then my thumb is covering his eye. And then we're going to come down that cheek. Right? Then we're going to point his nose to the stars because his throat is like you want to be sensitive about it, right? And so we want to hold all of the muzzle coat out of the way, get our line, but we're going to be really gentle through his throat area, right? Now I like to do, oh, it's okay, bud. It's okay. I got you. Little sweeps to the side. Right? Just so that's all safe. So you can see we did the top of his head, his cheeks, his throat, and we have behind-ish his ears. Maybe we should take out the Dr. Seuss flopped floofy parts here. But now, with all of that done, we can safely put him back into the slip lead. While there are other names that we all have that we call this, I don't want to offend or I don't know, hit any verbal words that might get us in trouble. So if you're like, that's not what we call it, I agree. I'm trying to play safe with the internet. And so for me, then now that he's back into the slip lead and he's safer that way, is now I'm just going to carry on with the pattern. Now for me, so if you guys were going to feel this, sorry, we're going to tip that back down. So if we were going to feel this, let me turn so you can see. Hey, bud, let's show him your beautiful legs. So as we roll, let me get that out of the ear. As we roll our finger down, do you see how we can slip in right there? So if we look, there we go. So as this comes down, see how my finger comes in where his shoulder is, right? And then the rest of his leg. So what we want to do is just before that dip, just where it starts to come off that muscle, that's where we're going to go to. We're going to go a little lower in the front, but this will help set up your leg to get a really nice column. So just something to think about. And just so we can see there. Okay, so as we come down, you're such a good boy. So as I come down, so here I'm pushing, do it this way. I'm pushing, and then dropping off, right? Sorry, I just don't want to dig at him. So push, and then fall off. Skim off, I guess is a better way of saying it. And then here, bud, just so you're not, thank you, good boy. And then when I'm saying come in at the front, so here, push, and then a fall off. And then we go from, did you guys see, hopefully you could see with that it went from like he had a leg before, now he has a chest and a leg, right? We don't want the leg. You have to remember that for humans, symmetry is considered beauty, right? And so if you have something out of symmetry, we won't perceive it as pretty. And so we won't like it as much. And obviously our clients liking what their dogs look like is a key point to our business model, right? So that's where if you don't have a leg and you have a chest and a leg, you'll end up liking the groom way more. So, sorry, I know that's taking a long time to explain. Let's get this off. Now, for me personally, I tend to work very methodically. It helps me save time with a lot of things. But you do you, like I will never say that there's only one way. As long as it is safe for the animal and you, I got no preferences after that. And so the thing is like for us, so when we're looking at this, sorry, I'm just going to turn him a little bit. Also, keep your table clean because all of that coat that you're clippering off, it'll work its way back into his feet and then it'll map back in and you're causing yourself way more fuss and stress. So for him, there, let me show this a little easier. There is his last rib. Okay. Now, if you look at his last rib and where his bits and bobbles are, if you can see it from that angle, is that there it's just set behind, right? So with that last rib cage, that's where you're going to want to graze off and not clipper into the tuck up and the loin area, right? So the loin is here, the tuck up is here. And when we leave this coat, you'll end up seeing how much nicer you can give them a waist if they don't have one, or hide maybe something that's super skinny, you know, like maybe in an older kid or the teenage years where they're skinny, right? So how we're going to do that, we're just going to, so here I'm pushing and then I graze off, right? So I'm just following that rib cage. And then up here, it's literally there's his widest point, and then it starts to slip into his waist. Like you can see how my hand hides in that area. So we want to keep coat in that area we want to go around. And even if you're like, Michelle, that makes no sense or it's not what I do, just, you know, trust the process with me and I'll show you. And then you can, whether you like it or not, you have a new trick in your, you know, a new arrow in your quiver. Now, because I never like to get into this area of his armpit, right? We want the safety of it, right? So we don't want to get into here necessarily, but I love the trick of pulling the leg forward. And I just can't see past your ear, my love. And doing that ever so gently. And then you can actually even come up and under to get that clippered. Right? And again, the safety of not going into that armpit. And then I have to say for me personally, sorry, my love, is that what I really love to do for the underside of dogs, and I can do this to even a standard poodle, I will take both their front feet and then I'll lift them up, right? And then what I'll do is I'll feel, put it away, son. I'll feel here to make sure there's no hernias, no folds of skin, nothing that can get caught. And then I'll come down and see here, I'm following still the lay of the coat, right? Now, if we get too close to his bits and baubles, I'll put my 5 blade down. I'll go to my 10, right? And then I'll just clean up anything. Now, because he is an older boy, he has, well, he doesn't quite have a perfect sheath. So we do have to, what's a polite way of saying it? Protect the important parts. He's like, I really do appreciate when you protect the parts. But the thing is that you can see that really cleaned up his underline quite quickly. And so that's just, you know, to make it a little bit easier. If you guys have any questions, shout them out. Or if you're like, Michelle, I need the camera closer, or I need this, or I need, you know, get it all out there. Like we'll happily take suggestions. Now the other thing, so we've gotten the front part of him, well, more than half of him clippered. What I'm going to show you is a trick that I absolutely love for rears. If you love it, use it, take it and multiply. If you don't like it, hey, it's just that I find that when we are dealing with pet people, they don't want, we're lucky if we can get them to brush legs, head, and a tail, right? And so the thing is that I do this little trick that if you have a dog with not a great rear, like it's not super angled, or it's just like, it kind of looks like you have four front legs. I love this trick because it fixes that, but also it's less brushing for the owner. And to me at that point, tickety boo, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to have to worry about that. Now I'm going to disappear for like a heartbeat, but trust me, there are enough hands on this dog right now that there's no safety issues at play. Oh, and I got a big ass, and it's okay, it might take more than a catch. I'm just saying my butt's big. Look at, you can still see him. He's like, what the heck just happened? So clean that up. I know it's so funny. If he looks like he's like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. He's not sure why that there is a camera in his face. And I think it's so sweet because he is the cutest of kids. But obviously a camera in his face is not his favorite day. But they're all admiring your very beautiful bum. They think it's very handsome, son. So you can see here that he does have, like, if we were to hold his tail up, you can see that he has the poodle shelf, right? And so with this trick, not only does it help show off the poodle shelf, it helps even like Shih Tzus make their legs, if you need to, look a little longer, and it really helps with angle. And so what we do is with that same blade, now he unfortunately was playing a little too rough with his friends last groom, so we had to clipper this part of his tail tighter. And normally if I was doing this, I would leave a V so I could just scissor that extra coat in. So we are going to do that, but just if you're wondering why he's got a very piss poor tail set, it's just because we were dealing with knots. So you can see really quickly as I come down this leg without any sort of anything, how quickly, sorry, son, he gets angle, right? Now, just so you guys can see there, what's the best way to show this? Right there, right, is his hock. Okay. And so what you can do if you've not tried this before is take 3 fingers, put it on the edge of the hock, and we're not going to, sorry guys, I can see what's needing to be done. Oh my goodness. I have no soul today. Hang on. I'm doing what you usually do. I'm tapping it like it's some bloody phone. There. Is there any more? Sorry, guys. I promised that I would pay attention and I stopped paying attention. I was naughty. But yeah, you can put 3 fingers above the hock, right? And then basically if you keep your hand there, you're going to protect that tendon, okay? And then what I'm doing, push, 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 and blend off. Normally, if we were doing something for competition, certification, something like that, we would actually stop at the stifle, right? A lot of people will always tell you stop at the stifle. This is a companion dog. This is the day-to-day stuff that we see. So an extra inch is not going to be the thing that ruins this look. Trust me, right? And so ultimately you can see my line, right? It comes up and over. Hi, do you think that's your friend? And then all we're going to do is blend off to speed this up. Now, I know because I'm yammering on, this is going slower than if it was in the salon. But if I go through and sort of show you guys on the other side how long this would take if I was doing it real time, not chatting, just salon stuff, you'll see how quickly this goes. And I'm just so you can see. Hi, can we turn you though? Can we do that? Hey, friend. So just from a slightly different angle, I'll get my shoulder out of the way. We have this rear. So I'm leaving the V at the top, right? Can you see where that V is? Okay. I'm coming down the side. We can actually lift this tail just to the side so you can see. We don't need to turn this into an OnlyFans page. Jigs isn't that kind of dog. He's a good boy. Yeah, bud. He's like, I'm a very proud boy. I wouldn't do that sort of thing. Hey, Jigs, take the money where you can get it. I'm just saying. So here, what we really want to make sure is that we're following the lay of the coat, right? You can go down the spine, but here we have to follow the rib cage. Again, there's the end of the rib cage, so we're not getting into that. We have to watch his little bits and baubles. I say bits and baubles, but you only have bits, no baubles anymore, son. Oh, he's a good boy. And then again, now, son, can we just put your foot there so we can show off your lovely shoulder? And maybe if you'll be extra sweet to me, can we just come there? Oh, good boy. And so again, right now we have a leg, right? Like without me clippering it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's really straight on. And so the thing is that it allows us to instantly give him a chest. So here we're dropping off right before the roll in from the shoulder to the leg. And then here, push, push, push. There's where the chest is. And then I'm just taking that little bit out. And do you see how quickly, even though his front end assembly is not fabulous, but we saw very quickly where we got a chest and a leg. And it's one of those things where you can end up carving in things that you'd want to see, even if they don't have it. Oh, hi, sorry. And that is because while we call ourselves just groomers, we are very much. Why are you looking at us like that? Oh, okay. When our techie person comes in and starts staring at us, we get nervous. So I just had to make sure that there wasn't something there that you guys needed. So yeah, so this is how we would go about it. Now, I do have to move his skin a little bit because being that he is an older gentleman, he has some skin that we just want to make sure we're not getting in the way anywhere. Hey, bud. Oh, you're so good. So again, I'm picking that leg up. I'm minding this armpit. I'm going behind it, right? And then we're going to grab that. So makes sense. We're all on the same page. Okay, so then we're going to really quickly take all that out of the way. Okay. So at this point, but it's okay. We're not going to film your booty anymore. Well, we will, but just not right this second. So then that, sorry, I know I'm in the way. That very quickly makes it so that we can see everything that we have now. Now it becomes really simple. Now I tend to be a really big fan of doing everything with scissor work because it was just how I was taught. If you wanted to keep what I call keeping myself honest, I'm really bad. If I can leave something really full, I will. And I know that is I've done show dogs for too long. So it's just a natural default that I have. And so the thing is if you're like, well, okay, so we know that on most combs, especially a comb like this, is that from just under the rail, that's an inch. The rail is about 1.5 inches, and just over the rail is 2 inches, right? Like that's how I measure everything. So if I was going to, let me do it so you can see, so you know I'm not fibbing. If I was going to move him sideways, fluff that up, and then put that comb in. So for the most part, on average, right, it goes a little, obviously from where the 4 is blended, it's at 1 inch, it goes to just not quite 1.5 inches and then blends off. So this still isn't a gob ton of coat, even though it might look it. And forgive me now for any tea bubbles. I drink copious amounts of tea. I probably have a mild addiction to orange pekoe, but whatever, it is what it is. So the thing is that we want to blend this in and make it really workable. He is owned by older people, lovely, amazing people, but she has arthritis quite bad in her hands. So we do keep it fairly tight just for her ease. But you could very easily put on something like this, right? The 7/8 snap-on cuffs. Are they still considered snap-on if they slide on?
Yes.
Okay, snap-on comb. Sorry, I very rarely use.
Drawing maybe.
Oh,
Dingy noise.
It made a dingy noise.
Made a dingy.
I don't know how to. I don't. Sorry, guys. Where would it go? I don't.
Okay, it just made a dingy.
It made a dingy noise and we just don't know.
I just looked through the. Make it a something.
There you go. It's all good.
Okay.
So the thing is the right, like you could put that on and then go from there. Like if I was to show you guys that 7/8 on this particular dog and on this leg, it would be. Right? It's taken some off, but it's not a gob ton. But you could, and see, I'm just swooping it, right? So you could do something like that very easily. Again, these people and myself, it would take me longer to clipper comb this than it would to just scissor it. Now, to be fair, because I'm wanting to make sure that we can see everything, like you guys can see what I'm doing, I'm not doing my normal, I normally sit to groom everything. So it is a bit different. You don't have to look so worried. I know the thing is staring at you, but it's okay, I swear. He's like, I don't know about this lady. He is thinking about it, isn't he, though, right? So where we stop clippering, we start scissoring, right? And so with that, I tend to go to where my blend line is first, because by just doing that simple amount, right? Like just that amount of coat, we now are starting to very much blend that clipper line and get a really smooth look. And so as we come down and through, we would blend all that. And again, like if there are specific questions that you guys have, ask away. It's funny because we have both people online and in salon, so it is we can bounce both, but now this is a little bit more difficult because again, I just don't want to get in your guys's way. Jigs, honey, would you allow me, please, my love? Just right there, because I can't see your bits and baubles, and I'd really like you to be able to keep them. So I tend to very much do, like I always tease, let's make a cave and then turn it into a nice archway, right? So what I'm doing is I'm taking his penis right out of the equation, right? Like I'm just taking and protecting that so that I can roll. And then there's a rough cave, okay? And then with and I know that these curves are ever so slight, but if I put that into and follow the tuck up I want him to have, very quickly, we end up with that lovely roll, right? And then we can start to blend that. Again, always clearing your table. So we're gonna floof that up and bring that in. Honestly, I always say straight for straight, curves for curve, right? But show me one area in a dog that truly is a curve. And I tend to be that human that always, I was initially taught where the only pair of extra scissors in the salon was a pair of curves, so they became mine, right? And I am the worst for picking up straights. It's not that I can't, I just don't. I naturally go towards curves. And so everybody kind of always laughs at me because, yeah, it is what it is. But do you see how very quickly we got that? Well, we sort of got it sorted. I say that and then I'm looking and it's, and then you know what I just realized as well? I left the radio on.
I just realized.
Yeah, I was jiving a jelly roll. I yeah, because I don't know what the laws are, and I don't want them to think that I'm like hijacking music. When that, yeah, like when that's not my intent.
A letter from.
Yeah,
Okay,
CRA.
yeah.
Being like, wait a minute. You'd be like, you used my music. I'd be like, oh, sorry, wasn't the intent. So there, right? Like we have that curve in that waist, and it goes quite nicely. Again, safety, we always want to worry about that. Now for me, once I have the top, I don't like right there, but once we have this done, and now we're all like, wow, without the radio, it becomes really quiet really quick. My goodness, now I'm going to do the bottom of the foot. So the thing is that when we do the bottom of the foot, there is what we want to do is keep our scissors very flat when you start, okay? And so we're going to go around, right? Now, I will always tease you guys and say back up your toe first, right? Which that's what I mean. And yes, you can take your scissors up at a 45-degree angle, right? You can see where my scissors are. And just so you can really see. And at the tip, the front of the foot, that's fine. But what you want to make sure is when you are doing any of the other parts that you're fairly flat, because what I see a lot of people unintentionally doing is bringing their scissors up at that angle, right? No, I'm not saying the toe, but just the angle of my scissors. And then what you'll end up is taking it from round to an ice cream cone. And then you're out of balance again. And when you're out of balance, it's not symmetrical and the human eye doesn't like it, okay? So that's where we want to keep that fairly flat. Now, obviously, there has to be a point where you do lift your scissors up, but if you're mindful of it, you'll be far happier. And just get that one little piece. But if not, make sure he's still in camp. Yes, he is. But do you see how that cleared up the bottom pretty quick, pretty nicely, right? The other thing that you can do, but you just have to be really mindful of a dog with tickly feet, is that if we turn him this way and show you there, sorry, just get my fat arm out of the way, is we'll lift all this coat up and out, right? Is think about the circle this way. Now, the one part that you have to is always make sure that it's safe. So what you want to do is put your thumb over that pad, okay? Now here, when my finger is protecting that pad, if he kicks back into my scissors, I'm going to get myself. And trust me, I'd rather take that. And so you do what you think, but that's what I would like to see. And you can keeping your scissors flat like it's the floor, you can take that little bit of hair out. Then I'm going to make sure that I'm covering that outside toe, right? And I can get those couple of hairs. If you don't feel comfortable doing it with shears, you could easily do it just as safely, right? You don't want to round or do this kind of angle, right? You want to keep it really flat. And so we could do that because again, him kicking into these is going to be a lot safer than scissors, right? So those are sort of two different ways to safely get around a foot so that you can think about that. And so if we're going to really look at those bottom feeties, we can come back in, right? Let him stand and just clean up and make a really nice round. And easy cheesy, right? So that's something to think about in regards to that foot. Now, I find that once we do that, that having it this way, sorry, bud, and given this a floof, now that we have this blended and that rounded, now all you end up having to do is fluff this up, right? Now we can see there's two hairs here we don't like. Okay, maybe more than two. And I don't like this line right here. It's a bit sloppy, right? So normally I would always say scissor up and down. I am just sort of having to do what works for camera angles right now. So I will apologize for that. Yeah, bud. Are you our bestest boy? Yeah, you are. So because we are going tighter, what we're going to do is we're going to drop a line from like to his stifle, right? His knee, that line there. Then the angle changes from stifle to the inside, underside of the hock, and then down again there, right? So there's the three different angles. If he had a fuller leg, we would actually see it as a curve. And that's just depending on if it was fuller. I swear to you, the camera is not coming for you. I'm just, you're looking, my love, like I am going to do you in, and I would never do you in. It's like, I know you wouldn't, but I don't trust that camera.
The camera's sketchy.
And he's such a good boy for all the different things, and it's so cute. I realize right now that I am not doing this justice. It's because I'm on the wrong side, and we've already learned that my ass can't squeak past that. So you guys will just have to forgive me for I can't see the perfect angle. But what you want to do is keep this the same width, the same balance all the way through. So right now we can tell that we're too thick down here. And it is one where right? Because if we're going to measure our thickness throughout, we just have to take that a little bit tighter. So now that we've cleared this up, and I don't
Can
know
you do the lines again?
the lines again. Oh, yes, I can. Oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever been more thankful for you to unmute yourself. My love, gold stars across the board. That was lovely. Okay, so the angles. You are it's not gonna bite you. I swear. He's like, I don't believe you.
Like, you don't know
Okay, so just so we have a really good view of that leg. So from tuck up, so his stifle is right there, okay? So this, you ultimately want it fairly, it's not going to be unless you have a gob ton of coat, but you want this to come down, these two lines here, to be fairly parallel, right? I do need to take a little bit more right there. I just can't see it to safely do it. Then from stifle to hock, right? So now we're looking at this area. We want this to come in a little bit. Now, if you have a dog that doesn't have great angle, that's where you can give them angle by changing there and there. Okay, if that makes sense. And then the next one is this parallel and this parallel. If you're going to go tight, if you're going to leave it fuller, it would be a curve, right? And that would balance a beautiful head with a lot of neck coat, something like that, right? So the thing is if I, hang on for just a second. Oh, bud, show my big boy. Oh, so good. Just because then I can safely come in. What I didn't want to do, you never want to scissor where you can't see. And that's all I was going for. But do you see how by even taking that tiny bit in, we get that line back a little bit easier? And then here, just again, because I can see it, we don't want to make ice cream. Oh, you got tickly toes? Yeah, it happens. I have tickly toes too. And so you can see that, what am I trying to say? The angles coming in, sorry. And then, sorry, I can see a shadow. I love my lighting. I have so much lighting, but it will show me things that the camera's probably not even picking up on. So you might be like, why are you fussing, Michelle? And it's just because I can see a lot with my lighting type. So now we're going to take control of this crazy hawk. Now to do that, I'm actually going to turn him around just because of the corner and everything like that. So I'm gonna pick him up, turn. We're gonna go about here, Bob. Just watch my scissors. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, down.
There.
There.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hold that foot with my thumb over the pad, again for safety. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna floof all this coat, obviously being really careful of the tendons, right? We're gonna floof all of this. My goodness, your tail, son. Okay, and this is what one of my friends calls putting a hitch in your get along. So that's where his foot would be down, and we're going to actually give it a little up like that, okay? And so what this ends up doing is, hang on for just a second. If you come that way, so do you see how I have that bend? And that's what I'm trying to just go for there. Okay, right about there. So then when you put that hitch in the get along, take your curves, right? And you're going to make it so that your curves are not going into the dog, but away from the dog. And you're going to start here and you're going to come up and over, right? And then, so you could, if you weren't in the camera's way, completely go up and over, okay? And then the other thing that you can do, because you've got your safety of your thumb right there, you can go this way. Right? So you can see how that tidied it all up pretty quick. And then when you put it down and you floof, we can clean up that line, and we can clean up. Sorry, I know I'm in your way. Now, did I grab it all? Who sees what? Right? I think, wow. Other than I don't know when I'm standing over the dog, I can't see my parallel lines, but I think that you can see that that clears it up pretty good. And right, if you're seeing that whole leg, it really cleans all. I don't like right here. Sorry, you guys probably have a better angle, and I'm bouncing like a mad woman in seeing that, but that helps. And then if we tip up, hang on, bud, and we go back to this, do you see how we have so much more angle? I don't like right there. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I tickle your foot? Hey, bud, I just don't want you kicking. Can you put that down? Right? Fluff it all up just to make sure that everything is where you like. He is rocking back a little bit, so I do have to take that into account. Honey, it's not coming for you. I swear. I swear, I would never. He's like, you're lying. I can tell. Like this. And I want to clean that up. Oh, tickly. Yeah. He's like, it is, Auntie. Where are you going? Okay. So does that sort of show that rear to you guys and help sort of go through and really make that back leg pop for you? Now, for me personally, once I have one leg set, it's one where I tend to work very methodically. I always start here, work down. So then I would turn him, turn. I think he feels a little bit more, I feel a little bit better when he can see the camera, but it is funny. Sorry.
back there.
He's like, I don't know what you guys are putting on the interwebs. Okay, so that V, it might be a little, sorry. It might be a little harder to see. Can you do it there? Okay. There. So with this V that I left, because we're going to grow this out, all it is a matter of fluffing this up and blending it in. Now, I will be the very first to agree with anybody who says, Michelle, we can't see the V and there was nothing to blend. You weren't wrong. There wasn't very much, right? But we just wanted to get that part. We are going to grow this section out so that it just is nicer. Again, it was just because he was playing with his friends, right? So at the same time, when we're looking at that, sorry, don't mean to make anybody seasick as I move things around. If there is anything else that you want to grab, you can do so. And then ultimately I would work on this tail, which I would floof the sides out and see how, if I put it against his white, right? We kind of have a bit of chaos. We're gonna have a bit of chaos in the first little bit as this grows. So what ultimately I would do is sort of plan where the long coat is. I could give that a little bit of a floof. I'm trying to find the best way that you guys can see this bump. And all we're gonna do is start to blend that. Right now, because of how short we had to take that dot, right? If I put my hand there, then I'm protecting. We're gonna do that, right? And just blend that out so it can do its thing. They do like him with a longer tail, so this is not just me leaving it, it's owner preference. And as we all know, owner preference is a lot safer to not do something without permission, right? So then we're gonna start, we've done this leg, this tail, and we're gonna come down the other way. Now, I find personally, and let me know if you guys agree, I find that if I take this tail, if I come from behind at the below the stifle and I take that and I bend it and then I hold with the tail to get it out of my way, is that first of all, I'm not hyper hiking the leg. So, right, older dogs can deal with that better, but also then it gives me all the eyeballs in the world to see what's going on with the inside of this leg. Okay, and then I can literally just drop this line down. Now, we all know from experience that me scissoring straight across down a leg is not going to look good. We all know this, we've done it. But here's the thing. There are days where some days we can't get owners to brush the inside. So do you think they're going to be sitting there going, oh, I see lines from your scissors? Probably not. Again, this is what we're doing in salon. We teasingly say, oh, don't worry, the owner's really old. They can't see very well. If you had somebody who was particularly fussy, just know that if you did it at this kind of up and down angle, you would get slightly nicer. But it is what it is, and I don't tend to fuss. That's a lie, but you guys don't know me well enough to know that's a lie. I will fuss till the cows come home. It's funny, I'm all about teaching scissoring, and yet I've seen my own hands just because of the awkward angles, like doing all the weird things that I would get on you guys about. And it's literally just because I'm trying to hit weird angles. So it proves it doesn't matter how much experience you have, it can go sideways. So if I turn him so that we can see this other back leg, hey, my lovely, he's like, no, that camera's still looking at me. He's like, we should have a talk about boundaries. Okay, so now we're gonna go less Michelle yappy and more groomy. So floof. And if you wanted to round it without doing the hitch and the get along, go at it that way, up and over, and then I can come in here, know where your scissors are. And again, if you're like, oh, I don't do that much scissor work, you can do it with clipper comb. But the thing is please do it with clipper comb to keep you honest in regards to length, but scissor over it, because trust me, there is a huge difference. And everything that leaves the salon goes with your name on it, right? So we want it to look nice. And also, I don't know, maybe I'm too OCD, but I just finish it off. So, and floofing, we're going to fluff all this up, use your comb all the time. Where we stop clippering, we start scissoring. And because this dog is curved, I'm going to use my curves in and blend out and away. Okay. So that went from that 5.
Can you use blending scissors as well as I see that you use the scissors?
Yes. So yes, you 100% can. I really wish that I had my new treasure. It's just, Bruce at All American has these blenders that seriously, the curve on them is lovely. They're super long, like they nearly are a 10-inch blender. And the teeth look like tuning fork. Is it you'd call it a tuning fork, right?
Yeah.
But you could, like these ones. Now, I say this knowing full well that the company has very much changed over the last 20 years. I used to always say I'm a guide girl, that my hand type fits Guide scissors really well when it is the even set long shank, which Guide has a lot of. These are the Buttercut 46 tooth ones, and I love these. But the thing is for the time that it would take me, and you could see like that, white coat on Michelle's hand. Brilliant, Michelle. I have no pigment. It's a running joke. This is 2 weeks in Corfu, Greece, and there's still not much pigment.
Beautiful.
And so I giggle because you can see my hand and his white are not that far off in color. And so I laugh at myself when I'm like, here, look at the coat against my pale, pasty skin. Like, come on now. So yes, there you could see I'm using blenders. 100% you can with whatever makes you comfortable. If you didn't have something like that, I have these are Mink International.
These are pretty.
Yeah, I always laugh. I'm not a pink fan, I'm a blue fan, but whatever. So you can see the curve on those ones, and you could use something like that. Hang on. I think just for me personally, I just would find this frustrating for how much longer it would take me. But if you were doing the finishing work after putting a snap-on comb to it, 100% I could see that because you would get a lovely smooth finish. I think, and especially in this area, I'd be like, oh yeah, that would probably be really, really pretty. I think just for me, like, do you guys have it where there's some things that you do that you literally are like, I'm gonna give myself a gold star for that one. I quite like it. As some people around here tease, a small parade. I am not the human that easily can do the just out of bed look, the wild, the crazy, rough and ready. I like tight, tailored, and military. Not so like, well, definitely on a terrier. But the thing is that it's one where for me, the underline, sorry, I'm in the way again, the underline here and the bottom of the foot, I'd have to do with scissors because I want that crisp look. But so that ends up being personal preference, but fabulous question. Because the thing is again, we all have personal preferences. Like I have one of the fabulous groomers, Kat Beaulieu, that I have here, that I've worked with her for long enough. You put a number to
Yeah,
that, I'll beat you with a stick. I don't know where the stick is, but I'll find it. Is that she tries to make me old. She does. She puts like specific year sets. I think that's rude. She does it to me all the time.
okay, so
She does.
I
Sorry,
see the scissors are better than um God, I can't think of what no, forget it.
Not the question.
it's one where I if maybe, and tell me if I'm just totally misinterpreting your question, whatever, as long as this part, sorry, this part of the scissor matches your hand type, uh, the name on it doesn't matter, really. You need to know your hand type and what scissors fit in them. So my hand type, I am a even set long shank is what my hand needs. Now I have big old bear paws, like literally compared to this. So this is a 12-inch comb, right? So this is probably a 15-inch dog. And my hand takes up most of his body, right? Like I just have big hands. He's like, oh my God, the camera's gonna get me. So the thing is that I like a 10-inch scissor. Guy makes them, they're in my hand type, and it works from there. But I have also had Arius Aircurt, which are like $40 scissors, but they're lovely and they work really well. So what we're gonna do, again, I'm gonna take this hand, my left hand, I'm gonna take his penis right out of the
What's to
equation,
say?
right? It's all protected. Sorry, Donna, go for it.
Looks nice. It's a nice mailbox.
Oh, I don't know that she has her penis on. It's fine. Look that way though. Here we go. And so I've made the rough tunnel, and then I'm gonna put in the waist. It's funny, our personal dogs are on the ground right now, and they're like, why are you giving that particular dog so much attention? And so they're all getting jealous. So if you hear noises in the background, it's just our dogs being like, why are you loving on Jig so much? So do you see how quickly we blended that? Sorry, am I in your way? Now, even though I'm scissoring up in, my hand is there to
I
protect.
do like how the scissors blend better than the blenders,
Yes.
but are the scissors not as forgiving as the blenders? Like if you
100%.
cut, okay.
The blenders will always, it's groomer eraser, right? Blenders are the groomer's eraser. And so the thing is that say the dog like somebody came through the front door and the dog moved really quick. If I was in the middle of scissoring it and that dog moved on me, there's going to be, right, a mark. Whereas a blenders would, it could still take a chunk, but not to the same degree.
Your blenders to fix it.
Yes, but you would use your blenders to fix the hooks from when the person came in. So there we have the line dropping down. This is an optical illusion. Is your eye getting drawn right there? Okay, that is an optical illusion. There is no extra, right? Like you literally are looking from the camera's eye, and it's just his color. So right, we have to fight. That's poor wording, but fight that optical illusion as well. Okay, and then as I come down to match our other leg, see how I'm bringing this angle in. Okay, and then we're gonna drop down. And then so that I can keep myself honest in regards.
Oh boy, can I use your phone real quick? Mom keeps calling me and I don't want to lose my web.
So we have
I
that.
just want to make,
I'm gonna
just
do.
want to tell her that I'll call her back in a few minutes. I don't know if she wants something.
Donna, my love, your microphone is on.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I actually really needed the comic relief because I was.
Where was that? So I just wanted to make sure.
I know,
You all.
you know how much I appreciate that. I needed to giggle. Like seriously, I love that. You just made me feel like way better. So, do you ever find when you get in your own head and you want to be perfect for everybody else, and then you're like, oh my goodness, I'm not being as good as I could. And so yeah, so no, I needed that. I appreciate that. So yeah, so we have that. And for everybody else, you see how Donna is interacting? You should too. I think you can all tell that none of us have egos in regards to not having fun and playing along. So you really need to try that. Everybody here, like seriously, we are so sassy and
Where to get in here?
it really does work.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
Right
right
here.
there, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
You can't
going
what are you guys
to-
doing tonight for supper?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
I
Well,
want
I'm
dinner.
hungry for lasagna, so I'm gonna make
Can we
some.
piggyback
Oh,
on
okay.
Like I'm just saying if dinner's being offered.
that?
I don't know. I for once could not have to make dinner. Okay. And that, oh, one little knot.
Uh-oh.
I know. God obviously fire whoever
No.
bathed.
No small parade for me.
Okay, so we're gonna come through. I'm just clearing it up. Sorry, I realize how long I'm taking. It's because I'm fixating. You know that thing I said I never do? Yeah, well, guess what? I'm doing it. I also am known in the industry as having these Bel Air flares. So by all means, I think that is lovely. I love a good hawk angle. But you could really easily just round that out, right? It's just one of those things that it makes me happy. So I do a lot of it. And literally they laugh at me on a regular basis. So it's fine. You guys can as well. So that takes that. Hi, I love you. And I'm gonna come to the back of his hawk. I'm gonna pick that up, right? So it makes his little foot go lax. I'm gonna give it a gentle turn, just so I can scissor on the inside. And then round that out. Sorry, I was getting in the way, but you guys get it. So what do we see that's out? Anything, maybe? Can you not be so worried? You look like we're gonna, I don't know, put you on a barbecue or something. I don't know. I don't like seeing you that worried, my love. When I know what a happy boy you are. There, if I was gonna be pedantic, did I get it all? Yes, okay. So then that's the rear done. I know that's taking me way longer, but it is one where you can literally see. The other thing that I love to do, and this is a great angle, is I'll pick up this front foot and I will look back through the dog. And so if there's anything that I don't like, I can grab it, right? Sorry, I don't know if I put my head all in there. So when it comes to front feet, we're going to speed this up because I don't want you guys to think that I can't groom a dog. So I'm backing up the toe. And then when I backed up that toe, then I'm going to hold the two pads with my pointer finger and I'm going to slide up the nails. And that's how I'm going to hold that foot. Okay. And that leaves all this coat uncrunched, molested, four words. Okay. Sorry. And then what I'm going to do is floof all this. Oh, my love. Your coat feels like you had a dental or something. Sometimes if they've had anesthetic, their coat gets a little sticky. And just because with his age, it would make sense to, that he maybe had a dental or something like that, right? So what we're going to do is take a look at this. And can you see, sorry, I want to make sure. I'm going to make sure that you guys can see the parallel lines. And I say that knowing full well this is not parallel. Do you know why? Because I will put a bell bottoms on dogs so fast. I just like the look.
Jigs.
And Jigs is like, no. And if the dog is turning, it will turn the legs. So you want to make sure that they are staring at you, right? And so this is where normally you would take straights. Again, I'm a busted can of biscuit, so I always use curves. But this is where you would take your straights and use that. So I tend to set my sides. Hang on, this needs to go up, up, and then bend in. Like, no, I think you're going to have to, like there. Right about
The rest of my belly.
there, right? We can see that, hopefully. Correct me if we're wrong, because this is going to get really special really quick. Hang on. No,
Tuck in here.
I just need there. Between the camera and me, we need to share space. So I just want to make sure I'm not in your guys' way. So we're going to even out my bell bottoms that I've done. Right? And we're going to start to draw our straight line with our scissors. Okay? So that's one. And now we're doing this just roughly, like it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to do the same. Sorry, as I make sure that my,
Can I go above?
I don't
Like,
know.
Does that work?
There we go.
Oh.
Ho, ho, ho. And I can get my parallel there, right? And then, so when we have a rough parallel, then we can put that down. We can clear our table off.
See?
Hang on, put it down and there. Okay, so what we can see with this is that Jig's legs aren't actually straight. They looked straight, but they aren't. And that one scissor mark right there proves it, right? So this is where what I'm going to do, and that is also, I don't know if you can see that angle. That's the angle that his front toes are actually pointing. So he is easty-westy at about a 45-degree mark. If I were to take his little elbow and try and, well, it's still, right? So what we would do then, if you have that and it becomes the issue, easy peasy fix on that. Make him look straight at you. Take your scissors and drop them down in a straight line. Right? Give it a floof. Some dogs will tuck their elbows in when you do it. That's just them trying to protect themselves. Don't get upset by that. And then that is where you will start to draw that line down. Sorry, I just can't see from that angle. Are we fairly straight? No, I'm still managing to leave bell bottoms. Good job, Michelle.
Do you find most dogs have wonky, not very?
Oh, very like unless it's my show kid. Well, who are we talking? That show dog right there has front or straight or crooked front legs. So, and there's no coat for me to fix on that one. I'm teasing about my own Great Dane. It's not quite at Jigs's level, but it happens. And there's nothing on this planet that's perfect, right? So please don't have, and I know this, I say this knowing perfectly well that I'm a perfectionist. Nothing on this planet is perfect, right? So don't do that to yourself. Don't throw yourself under that bus. It's not worth it, right? You do your best and you go from there. My thing is if that animal races into your salon and it's like, oh my goodness, auntie, uncle, whatever, right? Like races in and is thrilled to see you and they are safe and they are clean. and you have done your best, then if somebody doesn't like that, they can go somewhere else, but that's not, might not necessarily be a you issue. You know what I mean? Because me personally, I would rather have a safe, you want to turn that elbow something fierce, don't you? I would rather have a dog that's safe in somebody's care than perfectly coiffed. That's just me, and I show dogs. So we're gonna tip that a little bit. So we've, for the most part, I think we've got this line straight from what I can see. There is a small, he's got a small black dot right there, which is not helping my optical illusion. And now we have to make this inside straight. Now, again, because of that, even though I would have to do it up and down to get that straight, it's going to leave marks, right? So I'm going to roughly put my line in. Hey, baby boy. Doing that as my tips are cranky. Tips of my scissors. The amount of times I get in trouble for that. So that it's roughly straight. Roughly straight? Yep, roughly straight. That way I can pick up this foot at the same angle that he is standing on it, give it a floof, push his nose out of the way, and scissor. Hey, Bob. Are you my bestest boy? Yeah, you're my bestest boy. And put that down. Right? And almost.
Okay, so I have a question.
Go for.
Okay, so when you were making that straight line,
Yeah. Oh, we lost your audio.
all right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
So when I was making the straight line.
Oh,
darn it. I got it again. When you groomed him from his shoulder down to the top of his leg,
Yep.
right at the top,
Yep.
when you made that straight line, did you go tight to that line to make the leg line straight, or did you leave a divot in the right there?
Yeah. So where I stopped clippering, I can see now that I've recombed it, and the black, I'm certain from the camera angle that it's sticking out a tiny bit,
little bit.
is that we would blend there, right? Right there. And now
Okay.
again, just because I'm not looking from that angle, are we seeing any kind of divot, or is it dropping straight down?
It's dropping straight down. So you're taking your scissors and starting right where you ended with the clippers and went straight down. Is that what you did?
100%. You're bang on, my love. So where we stop
Okay.
clippering, we start scissoring, and that's going to give us our line to drop straight down.
Okay.
Now, if a client
Okay.
has a tighter leg than this, then you might naturally get a little bit of a roll in there, but it's not, that's tight. That's the tighter you go, the more the body you're going to see underneath. And it's, yeah, like then you can't create the optical illusions. But ultimately, yeah, where we stop clippering, which was right there, that's where we start the scissoring. And that's where it should drop straight down and look like a column, right? Now,
So it should be a straight. Okay.
yes,
So it should look like a column from where you have the harness around his neck straight down.
that's right. It should
Okay.
look like that.
Okay.
He's very
Okay.
That's a paper roll like this.
right? So
So let me ask you another question. If somebody wanted their legs tight and their feet tight,
yep.
would you use the clippers all the way down his feet and curve off of his toes? And then, you know how they get the Grinch look on their toes?
Yep.
Would you just clipper that all off or scissor that
What I
off?
would do is, if I was to clipper, sorry, I just want to put scissors down. If I was to clipper, right? So I've got my leg and I've got my big clippers. See, is that the right angle? Do you see how I'm kind of bending
Yeah.
like that? So I
Yeah.
would, sorry, I just don't want to whack him with the cord. I would come down, right, with that little bit of a bend, And then
Okay.
once I had clippered the coat off, my little trick that I love to do so that you don't have the big Dr. Seuss boot foot is that I would
Uh-huh.
take my slicker and pull that tighter coat up, then make sure that it is lifted with my comb. And then I would take my scissors and at about a 45-degree angle right there, I would round that and it will help. Obviously, if you're doing a 4-blade tight, you're not going to make those toes disappear. The coat's not long enough, but it will leave a lovely rounded foot without the Dr. Seuss, and you'll really like it. It'll also
Okay, but
making sure that the under part of the foot, like all this, is cleaned up with your clippers will also help.
uh-huh. But it wouldn't give you the straight line like you are now, like how you have that pillar.
Oh,
It would
you'd be
kind of,
amazed. I can do a 4. I obviously can't do on him because of owner preference, but I can clipper
right.
like a 5 on the body, 4 on the legs, because we won't go much shorter than that here at this salon. And if I use my slicker and pull up that coat gently, like you obviously don't want to hurt, and then finish it up with my comb, like just to make sure every hair is lovely and up, unless that dog's foot is really off, you can make a pretty decent column with your scissors simply by making them stand, to where their leg is. Come on, bud. There. And even if that was super tight, right? Like even if I was in, you would drop those straights straight to the ground, and that would be your plumb line. And you can do that quite easily. If you know that that dog, because you've clippered it so short, very much has a straight leg, then it becomes that much easier. It's only if their little legs are off. And then the thing is your best bet is to hold the leg. Yes, that's my hand. To hold the leg however it's crooked, right? Like most dogs will do that with a crooked leg. So hold it like that. First of all, it won't hurt them to hold it. But then when you scissor it that way, when they put it down, it'll look nice and clean and crisp in as columny as you can get for a 4-blade. But yeah, it is doable. I just, unfortunately, in the salon right now, I just don't have anybody that is that tight, or I would happily swap out dogs and show you, because it very much is. And if that is something that you guys want to see, those are just where if you send us a message, we'll make those videos, like, and we can put them up on our YouTube, which is the Informed Groomer on YouTube, and do all that. Like, we are always happy to help you guys in whatever capacity that is. Like, right, you don't necessarily need our membership to have your questions answered. I would much rather you guys feel comfortable and know that you're going to get help from fellow groomers in a way that makes sense to you. We happen to do ours with more video piece, like so that you can see it and follow along. And that's why we have the YouTube and we do our little shorts on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. But you're always more than welcome to send us a message to say, I want to see this. And we'll do our darndest to try for you. Now I'm going to turn.
Okay, I got one more. I got another
Oh,
question, because you made the comment that, I'm assuming that on all dogs that this is probably done on, you do the body on one clipper length and then you do the legs on another clipper length. But if you did a clipper length on him, on his feet or on his legs, what clipper length would you use?
It would depend on what the owner wanted.
Okay, so like you're doing this now, what clipper would you use on him to get that length?
I believe we decided it was the 7/8. It was the one
7,
that
okay.
we,
7/8.
yeah, right? That's the 7/8 one. And that's what
Okay.
we put through his back, like, because his back and his front are going to be equally the same. You want to sniff that? So it would be
And do you do
like,
that? And do you, sorry,
No,
but do you do that on every dog? Like,
no, it honestly, like,
do you use 2 different clippers?
oh, yes, we do. Like, if we're going to clipper a body and not, or do something, it's going to be owner preference. So like this particular one, we did a 5 on the body. Whatever number or scissor length we do on the body, it will be shorter than what we do on the legs, because that's going to give you your balance from top to bottom
Okay.
to back. And so the thing
Okay,
is,
because
our
go ahead.
salon, we won't go tighter than a 7 on the body, 4 on the legs. Like we don't do alls here, and it's just not what we're about, right? But the thing is that if you have even that one blade difference, like a 5 to a 4, it as it comes out, it will look nicer, and your client will be way more thrilled. The other thing, like
Okay.
really push that. No,
Because I worked with a groomer that, oh, sorry. Sorry,
no,
I worked with a groomer and they did the whole thing all over. And I always thought that it didn't look as nice when they were doing it. I kind of thought it looked like his legs were like spaghetti compared to his body.
like he looked like a bit of a coffee table and a bit of a sausage.
Yes.
Yeah, and the thing is that's why, like, again, we obviously have to go within owner preference, right? And so that
Right.
groomer might have been doing owner preference, and so there's only so much you can do. I'm lucky that my clientele like something a little bit different, unless there's a medical issue going on. And obviously we've all dealt with that, right? Somebody's got upset skin, whatever, and it becomes an all, right? And that's just till we get the skin under control. This isn't the case here, but I could go still tighter with these legs as long as the body is one, like, so again, this is shorter, right?
Yeah.
This we did a 5, this is a 7/8. Even if I did a 5 on the body and a 4 on the leg, as it grows out, you will notice that difference. Our eyes pick that up, right? So your eye told
Right.
that you didn't like the all, because what it was doing was putting the width of the body in contrast to the legs. It was making it asymmetrical. And our brain
Right.
don't like that. We like symmetrical. So that's what you were seeing. So your eyes bang on, honey. We just, because we don't know the conversation that particular groomer had with its owner, we just don't know if that there was something else going on. You know what I mean? And I would just,
Well, I know. Yeah, but I noticed that a lot of people do that. Use when they clip a dog down, they'll use the same clipper for everything, the head, the ears, everything. And I don't know if it's just to get it done quicker or that the owner doesn't know that they have an option.
it's probably a little bit of everything. If somebody doesn't know how to do something, then they don't know how, right? And that's where
Right.
having something like this where we can learn is one that sort of helps everybody as we go. Or again, they were doing owner preferences. I do find that like a lot of the clients that I get, I'll go through and show them the different pictures. I just giggle